All right, this video is a summation of the exponential functions practice in PreCalculus. And I kind of made this page so that we could look at all our formulas and all in one page and just see how everything ties together. So I'm going to start with the top. And when I start with this, these are our linear functions, y equals b plus mx. So we've been doing this since the beginning of the school year. And I'm looking at, okay, what does everything stand for and everything, what all our formulas are. So first of all, I know that b is my beginning value or my initial value. So I'll say beginning or initial value. It also is your y-intercept. And remember, when you're doing real world problems, life is in quadrant 1. So we'll do that a little bit here. So everything that we do, life, I always say, is in quadrant 1, because then when I start with linear exponential, this is your initial value, wherever it is, whatever your y-intercept is. Okay, this has slope, and slope is your change in your y's over your change in your x's, and it's a constant rate. And that's why it makes our line straight. And the slope formula is your change in your y. So you're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that will give us the slope that we need for this. A positive slope looks like this, and it's a straight line. A negative slope will look like this. A zero slope will look like this. And an undefined slope looks like that, straight up and down. So that's kind of what we did for linear functions, and we did many, many, many problems with that. Then we got into exponential. So I'm going to use the word annual exponential for this one because you have base B, but it's per whatever time you're looking at. But lots of times it ends up being converted to an annual. So I'm just going to put that in quotation marks because a lot of times we use it for converting. This one would be our continuous exponential. Okay, because I have base E. So let's go through what's in each one. A is our initial value. B is called our growth factor. And you have to deal with 1. So if you're growing, 1 plus my rate is growth. 1 minus my rate is decay or decreasing. Growth is greater than 1. So if your B is greater than 1, it's growth. If your B is between 0 and 1, then it's decay. And we did a ton of those where we had to come up with a formula for exponential. The next one here is our continuous exponential. And A still is our initial value or y-intercept. I actually could say that for every single initial value or y-intercept. I could say that for every single one of them. E means that it's continuous. It's a continuous growth or continuous decay. And then your K is your growth. So if it's a positive K, it's growth. This is actually your rate. A negative K, it's decay. And here, I didn't really talk about it, but your R stands for your rate. So your rate is inside the growth factor. Here, your K is your rate. So I just want to make sure this is your rate, and it's always in decimal form. So don't forget about that. And if it's positive, it's growth, and if it's negative, it's decay. All right, so let's look at what we have down here. So I'm going to actually, I have them underneath each other, so I'm going to see if they can fit in the screen. You'll notice I have this formula right underneath a b to the x, which is our money version. Okay, so this is our money version of an exponential. All right, and this is the money version of a continuous. So I'd like to put them right on top of each other to show you that these are really not much different. It's just that they have some different vocabulary in there, but it's still talking the same thing. So let's kind of go through what everything stands for. So your B is your balance. Your P is your principal. And again, that's your initial value. Y-intercept, I could say that every single time. And then we have our 1 plus R. So R is the rate in decimal form. And then I've got N is the number of times compounding. So let's put a few in here because it's going to, it'll come in handy sometimes if you have in one spot. So annually, they call this annually, it compounds 1 time per year. So that's what your N would be. Monthly would be 12 times per year. Weekly is going to be 52 times per year. Daily is 365 times per year. So those are some of the main ones. You could see something called quarterly as well. Quarterly is 4 times per year or every 3 months. Sometimes you see semi-annually as well. And semi-annually is going to be 2 times per year. So it's every 6 months. And sometimes you see bi-monthly, but I'm just going to stick to that for now. So you can see these numbers you can use for your N, and I just wanted you to have that on your notes. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the continuous version. This one's a little shorter. B still is for balance. P is for principal still, which is your initial value, which is your y-intercept. E is your continuous growth or decay. R is your rate in decimal form. And I think I've got it all covered. So basically, you have one spot where all your formulas are. As I can tell you, these bottom two are basically the same as these up here, except the bottom ones have more to do with just money and compounding. This one has to do with all other problems that we're working on. And we've been doing the linear right from the get-go. So it's kind of nice to have it all on one page. So I hope that this helps.